And this is what we call a test tube rack. It may be of wood, and it may also be made of a plastic, but this one that you can see is made up of wood. Now you use this test tube rack to keep our test tubes in multiples, and we can use it to transport them from one point to another within the laboratories. This is what we call reagent bottle. Now it is used in storing our reagents. Reagents are chemicals that could be in liquid or in powdered form that are used in experiments. So they are stored in this type of bottle, and it is called reagent bottle. It may be made up of plastic, as you can see. It may also be made up of glass. But the primary function is that they are used in storing chemicals. This is what we call filter paper. As you can see it is called filter paper. As the name implies, it is used in filtering precipitates. When you have a precipitate that has a solution and a residue, if you want to filter it, you use this filter paper, and this is how you're going to fold it. You make it to assume the shape of a cone. Then you open one of the sides. Then you insert it into your container where you want to pour in your liquid. Then you pour it, then you allow it to settle for some time. After some time, the filtrate will drain, leaving behind the residue. So you have been able to separate mixtures. So it's called filter paper. This is what we call fire extinguisher. As we said, safety first. In every laboratories, you need this fire extinguisher. In the event of any accident, and fire might arise, and you have to use this fire extinguisher to subdue the effect of that fire. So it is very essential part of a laboratories. Now, yes, this is what we call a thermometer, and it is made up of a glass. It is calibrated. It is called laboratory thermometer, and it is used to ascertain or determine the temperature of liquids or solutions, because sometimes you are required to heat some solutions. So in the event you are given a specific temperatures, maybe heat certain solution to about 30 degrees centigrade, you use this thermometer to identify or determine the temperature. So it's called a laboratory thermometer, and it is used to determine the temperature of a solution. This is called a dropper. In some experiments, you are required to make a mixture, and you will be instructed to put some of the mixtures in drop. So all you need to do, you use this dropper, assuming this is a solution, you place it inside, you press this part of the dropper, then it will soak in the liquid. Then you drop the amount of drop you have been instructed according to the experiment you are performing into a separate container. And this is what we call preserving bottle. There are certain specimens that you may be using in your laboratories, but they can be decomposed when you just keep them barely like that. So they need to be preserved in a particular bottle. As you can see, this is called a preserving bottle. It must have a tight cover because it can preserve certain living organisms. As you can see here, there are feet of fowl and other things. So they can be preserved for a very long period of time using a chemical called formalin. So it is called a preserving bottle. So these are some of the things we used in the laboratories. This is our heat source. Some experiments requires heating of certain solutions. When that arises, you use what we call this. This is called a heat source. It's called Bunsen burner. And you apply heat and you heat your solutions to your required temperatures. Now, the last one is what we call simple microscope. This is also an important instrument found in every biology laboratories. Now, there are certain living organisms that are very minute, and we need to study them. and we cannot see them with our naked eyes. The only option we have is to use an instrument called microscope.